exactly 6, 7 years wanting all your attention. Decided that the first 30 minutes, and during that time, that's when I can check. That's when I can even walk around and meet individual students, discuss their concerns, but you're focused. You're working on what it is it's really like it has a bunch of content area. We might address science, math, maybe I have a little reading, along with some comprehension questions, and something interactive and fun. A lot of times it's geared towards the student, or what we've out.
So each of those two.
Yeah, it's a new way.
Okay.
So if it's a poem that we've done, or like a morning message to the student, bringing them to the class in the morning, and they all work, and it's see 20 graders silently working, and I usually put on some calming, maybe some Beethoven in the background, just to make down and set that tone for the day. And it really, transformation from my management in the year versus the way that now. And students stand the expectation, and then they have 30 minutes. It's this.
As a way to set the stage, set the environment, but also to get that whole calming thing going on. But it also sets the expectations for the day too.
Exactly.
So you get to hold them accountable doing classroom management and discipline management. Not really doing classroom management because now you have created that.
Right.
And you're about to say you spell out a little bit more. So what if, as the day goes on, what if the things you've noticed has been these results of really having to frame that big day in such a way, play itself out as the day goes?
Because what I can do, 80 minutes. Obviously, right. I'm not teaching.
Right.
I'm not even talking 30 minutes. But it allows students touch on a few topics here and there. Later in the day, I can expand on. If maybe I throw out a word problem first 30 minutes, maybe students, they have to think about, Miss Ali's not in this account.
Right.
How am I going to solve this problem? And then they're going to have to wait until when we get to math. I can address the problem. We can discuss how it derived at the answer, and other problems that are just like that, and feel more comfortable answering question because they felt in the morning, and they're able to understand what they did in the day, and that's what I think is missing about the program.
It's a really great thing. You've said too that now that you have the track record trying to how it works, that other teachers dialogue with them around having to pick it up and use it in their classroom. So now it's actually being replicated.
Right. I've gotten wonderful feedback. Maybe increasing and abilities, and kind of just making sure every subject is touched on in the day. A lot of times the teachers were overwhelmed. For us who teach, all subjects, all day, we can pick different topics, throw it in there. Students, even throw students there, make it personal. It just kind of, and teachers have the ability whatever they want around, right? And you don't have to use everything. You can, you can direct it for your class. So it's very teacher friendly in that.
Okay. Among your cohorts and your, don't call them cohort groups anymore, we professional learning communities. In that group, along because you're a Teach for America, so Teach for America core members, ongoing stuff that y'all do, ongoing education, continuing education. Do a lot of these kind of creative ideas get swapped around and get an exchange?
Yeah, definitely, and that's actually up from, we had the mentality, students should be doing something, walking in the classroom, and that's I got the idea from. They call it right. What are kids doing now? Are kids, they need something at all times, engaged, and that's where this came.
Okay. Because everything is changing. Teachers are now being pulled in from all kinds of fields and careers because they're passionate and they want to do it. The certification program is allowing programs from different professions to now be in them. You yourself start off and plan to be a teacher. So tell us your background led you to end up in Texas East End Elementary.
All right, so I was an academic in college, and I took the path of economics to do investment banking in New York. And during my first year there, I realized maybe it wasn't the right thing, and I decided more in the field of social, and that's America, and I ended up in Houston, and it's been great. And you know, I might have had the mentality to go back and do something else, but I've had full experience, and my really is with urban education. You know, I'm just so excited to be here and to be and serve as a role model and model. I know they're looking up to me.
There you go.
So they want to do what you do, you know, imitate you and says, and you just know that
And that's important because we lose track of that too. You know, go back to our own lives and our we had in school. We always remember that was that one teacher that really made a great impact, that affected our lives, even though you can still remember. That teaching is one of those that people who really have passion, love children, love education, those light bulbs go off and those faces and those eyes open up. You know that you are impacting life, and sometimes for the first time forever.
Right. You get it every day. You really do, in the way that, you know, they want to be you.
Right.
When you know that, you know you need to set that positive role model.
I think it was interesting that you referred to the social enterprise. It is our number one actual social enterprise today. You know, all the statistics and data we have no choice. It's not get education right to fit on whatever that may be, whatever your perspective is wrong with public urban education. Fixing it and getting it right is not our future workforce, our work thing. We play with it, we get around, we figure around the corners, but it needs to really something. You cannot have a 50% drop continually to be fixed for 20-some years now, and not realize it's something that has to happen.
Right. You know, it's kind of elementary education. I think it's important foundation. If kids have education, successful, and if they feel successful, they move on.
And if they're embraced and in love and give unconditional love.
Exactly.
In those early years, you get a zeal with rigor for learning. That's that foundation. So it's so exciting that they get. And if they don't get that, we see what happens.
Right.
We see what. And again, the beautiful thing about this equation, as we look at more, is it's not brains. It's not an either or, it's an, but it's very clear. See what happens when it all works. When all the pieces come together, all the parts are there. At the end of the day, is this an excited child about learning, about being able to do creative things with their brain, to be able to challenge themselves and others. Those who just hate school, hate education.
Because if you that other group that you just mentioned, if you put it together, it works. Works. Once they have the foundation.
Why do you think in so many cases seems to be replicated, and in others cases it's just, I mean, just is a mix of people on the wrong mix of teams who in their own interpersonal issues as they play off each other end up spending too much time dealing with stuff as adults rather than focus on children and students?
I mean, I would say teachers play such a role. They really are, you know, teachers who energy and bring in that positive energy. They'll impact their students, and at times maybe we see teachers who, you know, think differently or with their children or believe their children can't do certain things. When I think if you have faith in your children, they are just deserving as any other child. You know, urban education, you know, we achieve the same stuff.
But the challenge is really of the children that you have encountered deal with love and times are immense and overwhelming for some teachers. It
is definitely, and I think you have to be willing and you have to understand that this is my job.
And we always said that if one had will and the wanna to be in the classroom, be in that school, be with that group of children there to educate, then we can teach them